Ohio State must maintain their intense, natty or bust mindset as fall camp begins.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to a Thursday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here on Thursday, August 1st in the year 2024. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Fall camp is here. We have been waiting for this moment since the end of spring practice, waiting for the boys to get back on the field. The summer months were busy, a lot of recruiting. Players had some time off to spend time with their family, with their friends, get off their feet for a little bit. But now things get ramped back up to begin the final preparations for the Buckeyes 2024 campaign. And the Buckeyes in this moment, as fall camp is here, it started today. They must maintain their intense natty or bust mindset as fall camp begins today and keep it throughout fall camp into the season and all season long. Because what do you have right now? You have a team that is led by veterans on both sides of the ball. And Will Howard is a veteran on this team right now. I believe he is one of the leaders on offense. Now, his voice may not speak as loudly as Emeka Egbuka's, but you got Donovan Jackson. You got Seth McLaughlin, been around a while. Carson Hinsman is going to be a multi-year starter. Yes, I do believe he is going to start this year. You got Simmons at left tackle. You got Fryer. You got G. Scott Jr. You got a newcomer in Will Kazmarek. You got guys that have played ball at a high level and been good at it. What do you have on defense? Future first-rounders, multiple on defense. Caleb Downs, future first-rounder in a couple years. You got Denzel Burke. You got Tyleik Williams. If Tuimoloau or Sawyer, if they blow up, they can be future first-round picks in the upcoming NFL draft. You got the veterans. You got the leaders. You got the experience. And with all that in mind, if the Buckeyes rolled into fall camp and they said, we're Ohio State. You got that Block O. ESPN's going to roll in town. Big T Network's going to be in town. You might have CBS Sports, might have Fox, might have FS1. You might have Kirk Herbstreit or Joel Klatt or Chris Fowler or Gus Johnson, whoever may be, Brock Heward, the guys that are broadcasters. Now, Herbie and Fowler, they're not going to call regular season games, but best believe Buckeyes in the playoffs. Wouldn't shock me if Herbie's on the call of his alma mater's game. Why? Because it's Herbstreit. He is that, to me, still that commentator. He is still my favorite college football commentator and analyst that is out there. That's just my personal opinion. But he is still recognized as the voice, the analyst for college football on the ESPN. And of course, he will call the big games in the playoff. And I want Herbie calling a Buckeye playoff game this year. That's just me. I think a lot of you would be on that wave path and be in that belief as well. But when everybody's coming in here, it would be easy, really easy, especially when them NFL scouts, especially if an NFL coach or two, now they're in training camp of their own, but if somebody from the NFL is able to come over and say, oh, I want to watch a practice, and your head starts to get inflated, you start to think a little bit bigger of yourself, start to think, oh, they coming in here to see us, man, we going to start showboating a little bit, going to start acting a fool a little bit, then all of a sudden, what do you find? You're not intense. You're not playing with the aggressive nature that you need to play with. You don't have that natty or bust mindset. Why? Because you're realizing everybody's coming to see us. And when they come to see us, I get out of character. You have seen it. The guy that's playing pickup basketball. And he is just a guy. I mean, he's just a basketball player. He's cool. He's good. Not amazing. He's not doing things that are otherworldly. He is just good. He's going to hit you a couple shots, play some good defense, might be a guy that's a master picker on the pickup basketball court. That might be him. Then all of a sudden, there's that girl that comes into court that sits on the sideline that he's trying to impress. May it be his girlfriend or his wife, or maybe that's someone he's really trying to impress, trying to get with. And what do you find? Homie starts playing like he's never played before, acting like he's Allen Iverson with the handles. He's finishing like Kyrie at the basket. And y'all up here saying, whoa, buddy, where did this come from? And you see a little smile on his face, a little grin that's a little bit different. You're like, whoa, yo, homie, where did this come from? And he's saying, you see that girl right there? I'm trying to make her mine. Or, you see that girl right there? She's already mine. I got to show off for her because she really gets to watch me play. That stuff happens. You know a guy like that. Maybe it's you. You've been there. We all know people like that. And it would be very easy for Ohio State this year during fall camp as visitors flock in. You got fans there at the beginning of fall camp too. So it's another reason to maybe get a little inflated head. Ohio State's allowing fans to attend fall practice, paying tickets to come in. Oh man, they're coming to see us. It would be so easy. On that note, let me say this. I think Ohio State charging fans, I forget what the amount was, maybe $50 or $20. I don't know the exact ticket dollar amount. They don't need to do that. Send a certain amount of tickets. Make it free. Let that thing go. Now, some of y'all might say, well, why would it be free to go to training camp? I'm a Colts fan. Indianapolis Colts training camp has always been free. Now, you say, Jay, it's at the NFL level. It don't matter. Ohio State's one of the biggest brands in college football, so the money aspect ain't a big deal. But the Indianapolis Colts have always made training camp free. Now, how do they do that? They announce and release a certain amount of tickets for each practice. Once those tickets are up for that practice, it is done. You can't do that anymore. So Ohio State's the same way. They can, I do believe, release a certain amount of free tickets. Cool. Once those tickets are up, they're done. And then make it more of a fan experience than it's already going to be. Had to get that off my chest. But also, let's get back to the topic. Ohio State this year, you got fans coming to practice. You got a lot of media members that are going to be there for the first time. You got national media from college football that's going to be there. It would be very easy to lose focus. It'd be very easy while the quarterback battle, which we're going to talk more about later on today's show, while the quarterback battle is underway, it'd be very easy for Ohio State to say, oh, man, we still ain't got a starting quarterback. Not this again. Not a feeling of deja vu. It will be very, very easy for everybody to say, man, here we go again. 11-0. Going into the Michigan game. It's in Columbus, not Ann Arbor. Almost said Ann Arbor. Here we go again. Why would they say that? Because, man, if this year feels like last year, it might provide a sense of deja vu for some people. But if Ohio State keeps that intense natty or bust mindset, that's what's needed. Remain intense. Remain focused at the task at hand. Remain understanding that, hey, Chip Kelly is going to run the offense a little bit different than Ryan Day. It's not a bad thing. They're two different people. They have two different things, maybe the same focus, but they're going to push different buttons to get a result on the field. Ryan Day is going to push some buttons that are different than Chip Kelly's, and that's something wrong with that. That is just the way that they are as coaches, and I actually think it's a good thing for the Ohio State football team on offense right now. For Jim Knowles, year 3 under Jim Knowles, look, this defense, even if it wasn't filled with future NFL talent, multiple, maybe 5+, 6+ NFL draft picks on the defense this year, I mean, for the next draft, I do think, though, this defense with Jim Knowles under year 3, I feel sorry for the opposing defense because, man, opposing offense because, man, it is going to be a lot of fun for us to watch and not so fun for the opposing teams the Buckeyes are playing. I was really hoping that Ohio State's quarterback battle would be not only the focus of fall camp, but that every quarterback will be playing better and will be doing things at a consistent level during fall camp, during the first day of practice. Oh, man, that's not what happened. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Gametime is a spot, guys. You want baseball tickets? Last-minute tickets? You want help customizing the way you buy tickets in a place that takes the guesswork out of buying tickets? Go to Gametime. They got flash deals. They got zone deals. They have all-in pricing. You can get a view from your seat, a panoramic view from your seat, and they also got that lowest price guarantee. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. If you would like to become a Locked On Buckeyes insider, send a text to 614-587-7853. Once again, send a text to 614-587-7853. Once you send a text, sign up, you will get Ohio State football news sent right to your phone. Ohio State's quarterback battle has been the talk of the town all offseason, and that is going to continue and maybe even ramp up as fall camp begins today. Ohio State's quarterbacks need to show up, need to show out, and need to show, hey, we are improving. And one of the five guys needs to show they have earned the title of QB1 in Columbus. Now it's day one of camp. It's been a lot of time since real practice has been going underway. So, there might be some slow moments, some low lights. There might be some highlights from some guys, but you expect, hey, might be a tad bit rusty. Well, Will Howard showed some things today during fall camp that Ryan Day liked, and here's what Ryan Day had to say about Will Howard and the way that he was throwing the ball on day one of fall camp. Quote, I thought there was more zip on the ball, and I thought there was more accuracy. I thought the ball came out with more pace. He had some good discernment, end quote. What do we find here about Will Howard right away? He is checking boxes. He is not saying he has earned the title of QB1. That's not what Ryan Day is saying. Ryan Day is simply saying, hey, look, got more zip on the ball, got some good pace, more accurate. You're checking boxes. You're improving. And doing that on day one of fall camp is huge. What about the other four guys? What about digging deeper into what Will Howard did on day one of fall camp? Who was the most consistent quarterback? Devin Brown. Now, here's the weird thing. That was the same narrative we got about Devin Brown during spring practice. He was the most consistent quarterback. So why? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, wonder that Will Howard got to start during spring practice, but the narrative about during spring practice was a more consistent quarterback was Devin Brown. So what is missing? Is it intangibles? Is it just Will Howard was there for the experience, so you had him start? What is it? What are we missing? I would like to know, because, yes, I all offseason have said I thought and believed that Will Howard would be the starting quarterback. I thought he would be QB1 at this point in camp right now. If Devin Brown's more consistent, start him. If Devin Brown gives your offense the best opportunity to be successful and to score the most points and to take advantage of the opposition, start him. But if he does not and somebody else does, start that guy. Start the person that gives the offense the best opportunity to be successful. That's it. If it's Devin Brown or Julian Sayin or Will Howard or Aaron Nolan or Lincoln Kienholz, it does not matter. You start the guy that is the best option for the team right now, and there are things that you want to have checked off your box. Devin Brown, the most consistent on day one, cool. Who was the best thrower of the football? The freshman, Julian Sayin. Now, this is where things are going to be really interesting, because lately, as we got away from spring practice, even on this show, the top two guys in the room, Will Howard, Devin Brown. But towards the end of spring practice, Ryan Day said, hey, Julian Sayin is in the mix of this QB battle right now. And I'm thinking, okay, like, he's a true freshman. And I think there's a lot of caution about starting a true freshman at Ohio State at quarterback. But Mo Murphy, frequent contributor of this show, host of the Up in Flames podcast, part of the OG3 at the Off the Ball Network, Mo Murphy came on here earlier this offseason and said he believed the week one starter should be Julian Sayin. And I thought it was crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was crazy that he would say, hey, Julian Sayin is the guy at quarterback for Ohio State. But if he proves it, if he earns it, give him the keys to the car. Let him do all the checks. Let him run this thing. If he has earned it, give him those keys and let him orchestrate the offense the way that it needs to be orchestrated. If he hasn't earned it, then don't give him the keys. It's that simple. Let's not overlook the things that we have that happen here. This is coming from a report from fall camp, talking about more in depth about things that happened from the quarterbacks. Will Howard tossed a few tight spirals early in practice, but had some struggles pushing the ball down the field in both 7-on-7 and team drills, underthrowing several deep balls. He also missed a throw well behind Will Kazmarek on a short crossing route. Does that sound like something that you would say a guy should not be the starting quarterback for? It's day one of camp. Mistakes are going to be made. That right there is not enough, but it does really shine a light on, hey, these are the things that we're struggling with right now. Going further, in general, there were a lot of checkdowns from the quarterbacks on day one, though it was perhaps Devin Brown, just as in the spring, who showed the most overall consistency, though he didn't have any major highlight reel moments. Do you really need a quarterback to have highlight reel moments? I mean, if you're starting quarterback and the offense is scoring points and the things are flowing and the things are moving, do you really need highlight reel moments from your starting quarterback? No, you don't. Now, you're going to get them, but on day one, especially on day one of camp, no. Now, what we're going to see, though, is whoever the starting quarterback is at Ohio State, they're going to have highlight reel moments. It's just what's going to happen. With the receivers you're going to have, with the throws you're going to make, with the long touchdown runs, they're going to have highlight reel moments in games. We all know that. That's okay. Don't read too deep into this. Then it went on to say Julian Say it might have been the best thrower of the day. He wedged a ball between a couple defenders in a perfect spot to G. Scott Jr., but he also had his share of, freshman moments, including multiple fumble snaps. There's more on Lincoln Kienholz, more on Aaron Nolan. And what we're finding is, Cam just started. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be issues. There might be a throw behind a guy. There might be an overthrown ball. There might be a ball thrown in a double coverage that should not be there. There might be a deeper battle in this fall camp than what is needed. There might be. Okay. Cam just started. And the things we're reading, things we're going to hear, the things we're going to see, types of videos we're going to watch, the clips that from press conferences we're going to watch as well. What we're going to find is there's a lot of things that are going to be reported that are not good, but it's also practice. I personally been going around to different high schools in the area where I live, doing some high school preview stuff before we start covering football games in the fall. And one thing I've noticed is no matter who is playing, no matter if I'm at one high school or another, one thing we're finding out or seeing is, there's going to be some high moments in practice. There's going to be some low moments. I've been at a practice where a team was practicing inside of a field house due to inclement weather. I was at a practice where a team was scrimmaging a team that was over an hour away. I've seen a lot of stuff. I saw a team practice on turf, one practice on grass. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff, and the grass was not like the upper tier pristine kept grass. It was not. But what I'm saying is, in practice, you're going to find things that aren't okay. You're going to find things that will cause you to need to coach a little bit more and coach a little bit longer. That is going to happen. So when we hear these reports from practice, when we see these things, we see these videos, you're like, oh man, that ain't good. That ain't going to happen. That can't happen. Remember this? It's practice. You improve throughout practice, you're going to have better playing time and better plays in the game. Now, if you keep practicing inconsistently, and if you keep practicing bad plays, what are you going to have on Saturdays in the fall? Bad play, inconsistent play, not up to the standard at Ohio State. But if you iron out some of the kinks now, some of the wrinkles now, and figure those things out, once practice begins, once games start being played, you're going to say, oh, the report early in fall camp, they worked on that. They've been grinding, and they fixed it when they got on the field in the fall. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, Nebraska. Don't matter who the opponent is. If they iron out these wrinkles now and start figuring out fixes to the wrinkles now, iron them out smooth, y'all, we gonna like what we see on Saturdays in the fall from those boys in the scarlet and gray. From the quarterback battle, that's one thing. But what are some of the top quarterback battles that Ohio State has during fall camp? We'll talk about that next. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts. For your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. If you would like to become a Locked On Buckeyes insider, send a text to 614-587-7853. Once again, send a text to 614-587-7853, and you will get Ohio State football news sent right to your phone. What are some of the top camp battles right now? We all know that there are camp battles that will be going on all over the place, from the offensive side of the ball to special teams to defense, all over the place. There's going to be different battles that Ohio State's going to be focused on during fall camp. What are some of the – I got three, the top camp battles. I could go a little bit deeper, a little bit further. And some of them will just get ironed out. Scrimmage 1, scrimmage 2, we'll figure out exactly where those things are. They're not really in the top 3, though. Number 1 is easy, quarterback. That's the easiest one. That is the number 1 top camp battle right now. When I think about Ohio State's quarterback battle, I honestly think we're just finding that these guys are not Stroud, Fields, Haskins, Barrett. That's what they are. You're not going to have one of those guys on the team this year. So how does Ohio State handle this quarterback battle when you realizing the guys I just mentioned, they're special? These guys might be a tad special, but they're not exactly future All-Americans, at least not right now. They're not future first-round picks, top 5, top 10 picks. They're not in that category. So when it comes to the camp battle right now for Ohio State, I mean, I said it in the last segment. I'll say it again. You got to put the right guy out there. You got to figure out your formula. Chip Kelly's going to help Ryan Day, going to help Brian Hartline figure out who the right guy is to lead the offense. And when they figure that thing out, once Ohio State once they stop really splitting up teams and allowing the quarterbacks to get a lot more reps the first few days of practice, and they really say, oh, ones, y'all rolling together all practice long, we're going to find out, hey, what guy is with the ones the most? Why is he there? And if that's a why, if the why is, well, he gives the team the best chance, the best chance to be successful this year, oh, that's QB1. Will Howard could be the guy. Devin Brown could be the guy. Julian Sand could be the guy. I would push back a little bit on Sand. He's a little too young. He is he's green. He's as green as they come. Devin Brown, really inexperienced. Will Howard is experienced, but if Devin Brown continues to be the most consistent quarterback, play that man. Just do it. And yes, it will look weird with a guy wearing number 33 on the field playing quarterback for The Ohio State University. The next one on my list when I think about top camp battles or position battles right now is linebacker, specifically the weak side or will linebacker spot. Mike linebacker, that's easy. That's Cody Simon. I mean, when I think about guys that might wear the Blanco jersey, Cody Simon's on that list. I know Jack Sawyer's on that list. Denzel Burke's on that list. Lathan Ransom's on that list. Donovan Jackson is on the list. I just don't think he's going to. I think that Cody Simon's on that list, and he's not going to be a guy that's going to lose his spot at the Mike linebacker spot. No, he is not. But then that weak linebacker spot, there's 2 guys that are in the battle right now, and they've been there all offseason. They're actually both Ohio guys, too, so that's a huge plus. You got C.J. Hicks and Sonny Styles. Now, the initial thought by myself and many others is that Sonny Styles is the guy who's going to get the start first. However, if Ohio State finds their defense is better with C.J. Hicks with that will linebacker spot, you have yourself in an interesting situation right now. Now, because Sonny Styles, if he's not at weak side linebacker, Ohio State's going to have a hard time taking Jordan Hancock off the field because he's too versatile. He's way more versatile than Sonny Styles. And when he's out there, He's pivotal in the run stopping game. He's pivotal in the pass coverage game. He brings more at that nickel spot than Sonny Styles does. So it would be really, really hard to go from, if I'm Sonny Styles, to go from starting to changing positions in playing less. But that's how things might go this year. So for me, honestly, right now, those that's the top two. Now, I do think we might see Sonny Styles start early. And if Ohio State doesn't find the time to use that jack position, which might be the CJ Hicks role to get him on the field a little bit earlier in the season with Sonny Styles playing weak side linebacker, if CJ Hicks does the things people say he can do and he can do, we might find a role where CJ Hicks is playing a whole lot more and more splitting reps, splitting time with Sonny Styles, similar to what Cody Simon did a year ago with either with Tommy Eichenberg, and then a little bit he ended up playing alongside Tommy Eichenberg when Steel Chambers went down with an injury. What do we also find in that moment? The guy who was started the year as a backup was the most consistent player at linebacker at the end of the season. So in this moment, when I make that statement, I think about this. There could be a moment that CJ Hicks starts the year as the backup, but by the end of the season, he could possibly be the most consistent linebacker that the team has this year. Now, we ain't got no real film on him. Sorry, that was really bad English. We don't have much film on him, but that's not a problem. Wait till he gets on the field. Wait till he starts playing. It'll figure out exactly what he might bring, what he should bring to the Buckeyes defense this year. Last but not least, the last camp battle, but this one's kind of solved. Still a little battle, though. It's center and right guard. Now, during Big Ten Media Days, Ryan Day made a comment about Seth McLaughlin and, oh my goodness, Carson Hinsman. That's the name. I almost said Will Hinsman. I knew that wasn't right. Carson Hinsman. And he said they've been kind of swinging back and forth between center and right guard, and they can swing back and forth between both positions. Okay, cool. You're basically saying exactly what we have been saying on this show all season, and the everydayers know exactly where I'm going. Carson Hinsman can play center and right guard, and Seth McLaughlin could play center and right guard. That's both. That's reality. Now, I think what we're finding right now is that Ohio State's probably going to start Seth McLaughlin at center, probably going to start Carson Hinsman at right guard, and I'm comfortable with that. Part of me thinks that the best option would be to flip it, put Hinsman at center, put McLaughlin at right guard, but no matter what, those are your two guys. Tegra Shabola is good. Luke Montgomery is good. I mean, George Fitzpatrick, somebody say he should be there. I think Josh Fryer would be a better guard than a right tackle, but I think he might be the best option at right tackle right now. Cool. That's great. But in regards to the center and right guard spot, I think it's a two-headed monster, two-headed race between McLaughlin and Hinsman. They just got to figure out, well, just keep battling, playing both spots, and then figure out who is the best spot, best option for each spot, and then roll with it. I think Ohio State is going to have an improved offensive line this year. You put the right guys in the right spots and let them cook. We're going to have a lot of fun conversations about the Buckeyes offensive line right here on this show every Monday through Friday on YouTube or wherever you get your fine podcast. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen of the day. Now is the perfect time to make your second listen of the day, the Locked On College Football Podcast. Spencer McLaughlin. I don't know if he's related to Seth McLaughlin, but Spencer is the host of Locked On College Football, and he does a phenomenal job of hosting and covering college football from coast to coast, from the ACC to the Pac-2 with Oregon State and Washington State, to the Big 12, to the Big 10, to the SEC, and the G5 conferences. He covers it all. Tap into Locked On College Football. Subscribe wherever you get your fine podcast. You can follow me on X at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317 at gmail.com. We're out of here, Buckeye fans, on a Thursday. We'll see you next time.